when we are talking about non-verbal communication, it is basically a message or a response not expressed in words but in actions. Now, non-verbal is an unspoken communication which goes on in every face-to-face encounter with another human being. Generally, when we are talking about non-verbal communication, we say that it is a route to discover what the other side wants without them ever saying it. It is like a secret way into their soul, and body language stands for the innermost personal feelings, emotions, attitudes, thoughts through body movements, either consciously or unconsciously. And like I always say, actions always speak louder than words. So when we are talking about body language, it basically means the changes, okay? The changes that occur in the body position and any kinds of movements which show what the person is maybe feeling or maybe what a person is thinking. And most of this body language is involuntary, right? So what is involuntary? Basically, unconsciously we do it. Most persons are not even aware, okay? They don't even know what face, maybe facial expressions they have or what kind of body language they are showing, okay? But it makes a very powerful impact on others. So generally in an interview, I would say body language can make or spoil, okay, any kind of interview or a presentation. Now when we are talking about body language, basically we the importance of nonverbal communication of body language is that the researcher Mehrabian found that only 7% of the messages effect are carried by words. Listeners receive the other 93% through nonverbal. Okay, what does this mean? That 93% is through body language and only 7% is words. Means, for example, uh, in case the same lecture which I was giving, which I'm giving you right now, if I was giving it in the classroom, okay, now 93% of the way maybe I speak, the way my eye contact I have, the way my gestures are, the way my body movements. So most of the students would have understood this lecture much better if we had been present in college through my body language. But only 7% you will understand through words. Okay, just a minute. Somebody's trying to get in. So, uh, so when we are talking about body language, about 93%, okay, is through non-verbal. What does that mean? That about 65% of the social meaning of the messages we send to others are communicated non-verbally. Okay, now the researcher called Bert Wistel suggested that spoken words account not more than 30 to 35% of all our social interactions. So if you actually see, when we are talking about body language, we are talking about 55% of bodily movements. Okay, then we are talking about 38% of voice tone, the way a person speaks. Okay, how loud or how how fast, how slow, how low the voice is, how, especially when we are giving our presentations and all that. And only 7% we understand through words. Now, there are different types of non-verbal messages. Okay. What are those non-verbal messages? First is the body language, or it is also called as kinesics. Okay. So, when we're talking about kinesics, we'll come to that. Then, next is clothing or artifactual communication. Then after that, we have voice or paralanguage. Then we have space, distance, or proxemic factors. And then, of course, color also makes a huge difference in as a nonverbal message. And then we have time or chronemics and touch or haptics. So when we are talking about kinesics, we are talking about the uh, appearance, okay? The way a person stands, the gestures we use, the postures we use, the facial expressions, the smile, the eye contact. So all this comes in basically kinesics. So here I have a small message which says the bodily gestures, postures, facial expressions by which a person communicates non-verbally with others is called as body language. And under kinesics, you have the posture, gesture, facial expressions, and eye contact. Now, can anybody tell me what is the meaning of posture? Yes. What is the meaning of posture or gesture?
The way we stand.
Very good. So, how does it impact on others, the way we stand? In an interview, for example. Yes.
If we are straight, then it shows confidence, like our shoulders are straight and back, neck, chin up.
Correct. Anything else? What is postures?
Also, eye contact.
Yes, eye contact will come later. We are talking about posture now. So, posture is the way we hold ourselves, okay? The way we stand, the way we sit. What does it do? It basically indicates something about our maybe our feelings, our thoughts, our attitudes, our health. So, all this basically tells about the way a person is. So, for example, somebody has a very stiff posture. What does that mean? That person is in tension. Okay, maybe somebody is leaning very comfortably and is in a very relaxed mood. So, what does that show? That the person is easy to go. Okay, now somebody is eagerly leaning forward. What does that mean? That the it shows that the listener is very interested in what he or she wants to say. So basically, posture can indicate anything. Okay, it could disregard or disrespect. It could show any kind of politeness. It could show how a person is well bred. Okay, so usually it is very helpful if we are careful of how we stand, how we sit in the presence of others, especially in the formal situations like an interview. Now, if you have a very graceful posture, okay, it becomes a very like a great asset to a person, right? So, in gestures. Now, let's come to gestures. What is the meaning of gestures, students? Yes.
To have kind of friendly attitude, or maybe to help others.
Sorry. What are gestures?
Ma'am, to have kind attitude or friendly, maybe in case of helping others.
No. Here we are talking about body language gestures. Yes.
Can I give an example, Rishikesh here? So when you go now, this culture is not followed in India that frequently, but when we go to a person's house, we are invited. So many times they bring a bottle of wine with them as a gesture, or a bouquet of flowers as a gesture. So that
okay.
Gesture.
Yes, but that is that's a kind gesture which you show to people, right? Here we are talking about gestures related to body language. So how should your gestures be when you are giving an interview, for example? That is yes, please.
Movements of hands.
Yes. Very good.
The way movements of hand can be.
Yes, very good. So basically, here when we are talking about body language gestures, we are talking about the movements. Okay, we are talking about the movements of hands, the movements of maybe your head, movements of body. So they are basically a natural accompaniment with our speech, right? The way, like for example, when I'm talking now, also unknowingly I'm making gestures. When I'm giving a lecture, when I'm giving a speech, unknowingly, when we are talking, we make gestures, our hands are moving, right? So a person, for example, who does not make any movement while speaking, well, how will you all feel? It appears very mechanical, right? Very stiff. So if you see a boy or a girl giving a speech and standing straight with his or her head, hands down, and he starts giving a speech, imagine how it'll look, huh? You all will start laughing, right, after a while, because it doesn't seem natural. It shows tension on that person, right? So basically, gestures do not have any specific meaning as such, but in the interview, when you're going for an interview, for example, if your hands are very, tightly clenched in a fist, okay, that could convey an important point. Something like, either you are very, very nervous, or you are very defiant, or maybe you are, determined, okay, to get that interview. So, as gestures basically are very closely related to personality, students. Remember that, okay? No two persons can make exactly the same gesture. Yeah. But yet the general meaning is easily recognized by people, that what you or she or he wants to say, right? So gestures is basically movements of a hand, head, etc. when we are talking in body language, okay? But like Rishikesh said, of course, we kind gestures of giving flowers, or taking wine bottles, those are gestures when we are making a gesture towards someone. But here we are talking, when we're talking about body language, we're talking about the specific gestures which are made by all of us during body language, okay? Then after that is facial expressions. Can anybody tell me how should your facial expressions be during a presentation, a speech, uh, um, yes, group discussion, interview? Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes, please. What's your name?
Jaya. Jaya
Yes,
Bhusri.
Jaya. Yes, Jaya.
Facial expressions shows our emotion actually. Like if we are in a meeting, nervousness and all shows on our face. So we should maintain it like proper eye contact and our smell. When we talk, then the way we talk shows all the expressions.
Very good, very good. Yes, you are right. Anybody else would like to add on facial expression? Yes. What is the kind of facial expression? What is facial expression? Expression on the face, okay, is I think one of the most obvious body language, right, students? When you are standing in front of me, and you don't have to tell me, okay, just by your eye contact and the faces you all make, I realize, I understand what you want to say, okay? So what are the facial expressions basically? Yes. Yes, can anybody tell me what are facial expressions? For example, a cheerful face. How would you feel if you go to college today and you have a very nice smiley face around you? How will your mood be if you see a cheerful and a smiley person? Won't you also change your mood? Won't you feel good? And that only if you see a very gloomy and a very strict and a grumpy face on some, maybe a teacher or something. How will your mood be? Huh? If you're going to have a teacher who's going to teach you and who's a very grumpy person, okay, always picking up on you, how will your mood be? Or how will you be able to answer that teacher? I don't think so. Most of you won't even answer that teacher.
First of all, ma'am, we will be frightened. So
Yes.
it will be harder for us.
Exactly. So you'll be fearful, right? So it'll be very hard. And even if if the teacher asks you any question, but the expression, if the expression on her or his face is very grumpy, okay, you will not even be able to answer if you want to, right? So similarly, when we are talking about facial expressions, okay, how they should be is extremely important, and that is the reason why there should always be a smile, and you should always be a cheerful mood, especially in the hotel industry. Because remember, whatever facial expressions you're going to have on your face, the customer, the guest is going to know, okay, what you are thinking. So that is basically why. And remember, even in during interviews, okay, for example, if you have a very displeasing frown on your face, the of course the interviewers are going to know about it, okay, any kind of look of surprise, okay. So many expressions there are, which I'll be showing you now, some of the pictures ahead, okay. um, and expressions basically accompany the speaker's words. They also indicate the listener's reactions. Okay, that is why a speaker, okay, can judge the listener's reaction only by the facial expressions that he or she can see. So, even for example, when I am teaching the students, okay, I realize some students who don't understand and some of them can understand. Why? Because when I look at your expression, I'm always taking a constant feedback. I realize that some students who have understood, they have a good eye contact. They have a, they nod in between. So that is how I understand. And some students who are all the time looking at their watches and they're looking up in the sky at the ceiling, I know that they're bored and they want to go home as early as possible. So that is basically the facial expressions. Then most important is eye contact. Now eye contact is basically very, very important and it is a very key part of a facial behavior. Why students? Why do you think eyes are very important? They say, it's like a window to your inner world. Hmm? Your eyes are an open window to the inner world. Why do you think so? Yes.
When
Why? Yeah.
during an interview or normal conversations also, when we have eye contact, so the person who is speaking or either of them who is speaking, is that my message or whatever I'm telling is delivered. The person is just looking, okay, yes, and looking other way, not looking directly, not directly in the eye, but at the person. So
Yes.
at the time, it is portrayed as the proper attention is not being given.
Right. Very good. Who is that?
I'm Rishikesh.
Yes, Rishikesh. Good. So basically, when we are talking why is eye contact very necessary is because when you are, for example, if you're giving a presentation or you're giving a lecture or you're giving a speech, group discussion, interviews, all these things, why is eye contact necessary? Because it shows the customer, it shows the students, it shows your entire audience that you are giving them attention, and as well as you get the feedback that they are giving attention to you. And that is why, if for example you are in a semicircle, okay, and you are standing and giving a speech or giving any kind of presentation, it is very important that whenever you have eye contact, you should have eye contact with everyone, not only one side of the group or one person only. Why is that? Because the others, after a while, others behind, especially at the back, okay, the audience will start getting bored of whatever you're saying and they will not pay attention. Okay, that is the reason why eye contact is very, very important, and it is one of the most important communicative factor. Okay, so eye contact between a speaker and a listener. Okay, what does that indicate? That both are whether they are interested in the communication or not. So, for example, while making any kind of oral presentation, very, very important it is to create the rapport with the audience with eye contact. Yeah. So you create a rapport with your customers, you recreate a rapport with your friends, you create a rapport with your teachers, your family, etc. if you have eye contact. Now, uh, also it depends that a lot of students asking, ma'am, in a presentation, for example, how do we maintain that eye contact? Now remember, students, the key is to maintain eye contact for not more than 3 to 4 seconds at a particular person or at a particular audience. So if eye contact is held longer than about 3 to 4 seconds, yeah, it could cause some kind of maybe discomfort to the other person, right? It could then that eye contact can turn into a stare, or that could turn into a gaze, right? So basically, you have to always remember that whenever you are when we're talking about eye contact, it is different from a staring or gazing. Okay. Now, okay, after this we have, so in body language we have facial expressions, we have eyes, we have mouth, we have arms, we have hands, and we have fingers, which come under the gestures. Now, most important is the face. Now, why is it most important? Because the face is an important source of information. Through the face, you cannot hide easily. It is an important source for non-verbal information because it communicates a variety of emotions. In addition, eye contact, pupil size, smile, all these provide additional cues to informed observers. Now, the eyebrows and the lips are the most mobile part of the face. Why are they most important part? Because a smile, okay, smile costs nothing but gives much. So a smile is a universal gesture, okay, and I always say, basically it is understood by everyone, okay, and generally, unmistakably, it clears the atmosphere. The moment you smile, what happens is it clears. For example, maybe many of you don't know each other yet, but when you met last week, the first time for your service practical or for your BRD practical or for your food production practical, what was the first thing you all did? You all smiled, right? Once you smiled and said, "Hi, my name is whatever," that is how you broke the ice, right? And now you all know each other as your friends. So smile is extremely important. It basically enriches, right? Those who receive it, you and also those who give it. Hmm? So that is the reason a smile can be a very useful. Maybe you could say a non-committal gesture when it is better to be silent. So after that, these are the few expressions which all of you can see. And can you tell me, students, corner left hand side forehead? What do you think is he thinking about? Yes. Can you tell me what is the gesture or what is the facial expression there? Left hand corner. Boredom, very good. Yes, which I see quite often in my classes. Okay. What else? Boredom. See, there is no right or wrong answers, okay? Everybody can answer. This is a communication class, students. Please be interactive. Yes, you can say anything. Yes. What do you think it is? First, somebody said boredom. Okay, what else could that expression mean?
Irritated.
Okay, irritated. Very good. Then let's come to the next. Sorry.
Annoyed.
Annoyed. Okay, very nice. The next one with wrinkles. Next to him with wrinkles. What do you think? What is his expression? Confusing. Okay. What else?
Frustrating.
Very good. Frustrating. What else? Can you say with an attitude? He has an attitude. He's showing attitude.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He's showing attitude to somebody. That could also be the answer. Very nice. Of course, on the right hand side, it's very self explanatory that she is very angry. Yeah. Then now, when you come to the second row on the left hand side, the eyebrows, students look at all those expressions. Only the eyebrows have been changed, but it says so much. Okay. So each expression, if you all see, yeah, you all can see only the eyebrows can tell you so much. Then in the middle, you all can see outer edges up. What does that mean? What does that show you? Outer edges up.
Shocking.
Okay, shock.
Misery.
Misery, very good. What else? Disappointment, excellent, very nice. Disheartened, yeah, that she's lost something, so she's feeling very sad about it. Can we say that? So whenever anybody, any person feels very disheartened or disappointed, generally what happens is our mouth, okay, the outer edges become up. So that is why that expression. Then on the right hand side, you can see that baby, okay, that baby boy is very angry. So you can see his nose, it's become red. Then on the, when you come on the third row on the left hand side, what does she want to say? Her nose is scrunched, students. What is the meaning of that? Yes. What do you say?
Cluelessness.
Okay, she's clueless. What else?
Jealousy, trust by something.
a jealousy, or what did you say? What by something?
She's disgusted with something.
Yes, disgusted. Very good. Yes. So only by the expression, see, we got so many interpretations. Very nice. Then in the middle, if you come upward, what do you think she's doing, this girl? She's looking up still, up. So what is that expression? Yes.
Attitude.
Could be attitude. Okay. Next. Very nice. Sorry, couldn't hear you.
She's judging someone.
I couldn't hear you right.
She's judging someone.
She's
by
judging.
looking at
Yes. Yes. Very good. Yes. It could be that she's judging one. Very nice. What else? See, like I said, students, you have to interpret it your way. There is no right or wrong answer. So please, students, talk and tell me, what do you think the girl in the third row middle is thinking? We got two answers.
She's thinking about something or daydreaming.
Daydreaming. Very nice. So it could be anything, just the expression will tell you. Okay. And then on the right hand corner on the third row, you all can see contempt. Okay. Just the lips going up. Okay. That expression, it shows contempt in any person. Okay. So basically, the person is not liking something, and that is why she's not agreeing with whatever the person is saying, but she doesn't want to tell, and that is why she's just making her lips, uh, you know, just her lips she has taken up, and you can see that basically she is in contempt, or maybe disobedient, or she wants to respect someone. Okay, so these are the different. Now here you come to eyes. Okay, now the expressions of eyes also you all can see the way it is centered. Then here on the right hand side in the first row you can see is focused. Then down there that lady, she is in the second row, she is gazing up. Then on the right hand side you can see in the second row he's thinking. Then the third row you can see again he's gazing down and thinking. And students on the right hand side, the third row, you can see so many, all the precedents of the different worlds, shamefulness. Just because they are shameful, look at the expression they have made, all of them. Same expression by the different precedents of the world. Okay. So now you know how important non-verbal communication is, especially in your interviews. Now another set of eyes here, gaze on the side. Anybody who's guilty, then wondering, disinterested, and bored. So this is only an expression. Those people are not talking anything, but you can see. After that, we have the mouth, okay, or the lips. Yeah, parted lips, fear, raised eyebrows, wide open eyes, parted lips is basically fear. On the right hand side in the first row, you can see she's happy and relaxed. Then when your lips are together generally and your eyebrow is in anger, okay, this person, eyebrows down and together, eyes are glaring, narrowing of the lips is basically the person is in anger. Then on the second row, right hand side, you can see possibly concerned, the mother is concerned. And of course, wide open, what does that mean? The third row, the boy who has his mouth wide open. When do you generally have your mouth wide open? Yes.
He's surprised.
Surprise, very good. What else?
Shocked.
Shocked. Yes. He's surprised, he's shocked. So generally when we are surprised and shocked, we all have a habit of opening our mouth wide. Okay. And of course, on the right hand side, you can see that person, he wants to he would bang someone, right? So he's very, very angry. So whenever you are very, very angry, again, depending on the cultural background and the way we are brought up, everybody expresses himself or herself differently. Remember that, okay, students? Because maybe there is somebody who gets angry, but he doesn't bodily or with expression, he does not show. By just keeping quiet, he feels anger inside, okay? So it could be the way you are brought up also. Then here, next is arms, okay? You should never cross your arms. Why do you think, students, that you should never have your arms crossed? What is the reason?
It might show the other person that we are bored or not interested.
Not bored or interested, but it could be what? Yes, some
Body language is like the arms are crossed, it is closed, so not open.
So the person is a closed person. He or she is not open. Correct? That's what you meant.
Yeah, the body language, not the person.
Body language. Yes. So remember the interpretation of whenever you are crossing your arms in an interview, the interpretation of this kind of body gesture or hands, bodily gesture would be that either the person has a lot of attitude, or the person is a close-minded person, okay, doesn't want to open up, or the person is very arrogant. And that is the reason why we never stand like this in when we are standing for F&B, or we're sitting in class, or we are giving any interview. Are you getting me, students? So you should always remember that this is a closed position. So your hands should always be, if you'll see in the second row, just below the first one, if you'll see open arms, okay? And if you stand with your, taking your hands together, it means closed body posture, okay? Then let's come to the first row on the right hand side, angry or disapproving. And just below that, it is basically the way those men are standing, okay? Honest and accepting. But here also, if you can see the first picture, is defensive standing position. The way he's standing, basically he's defending himself, okay? And again, his hands are crossed. So that should not be the case. So if you can see closed body and closed attitude, if you stand like that ever with your friends, that shows that you have a closed attitude and you are giving a closed body posture. But how would an open body and open attitude be? Is far to the right hand side, which is the way those men are standing. So every time you have any kind of interview, you have any kind of group discussion, etc., the open body position and open attitude position is towards your right hand side, okay, far end. So that is how you are supposed to be in a interview. Remember that, students. Now these are the interpretation during the in the interview, okay? If you have your hands clenched tightly, usually it indicates that the person is experiencing undue pressure. It may be difficult to relate to this person because of his tension and disagreement. Superiority and authority are usually indicated when you are standing and joining your hands behind your head. So if you all have seen some of the senior directors or senior managers, if you go to their cabin, okay, you see them, they join their hands, they put it behind their back, or they put it behind their head, okay, and they are, when they're standing, they join their hands and they stand behind their back, put them behind their back. Now such position shows authority or superiority. So basically when you are maybe sitting in an examination, when you are sitting and giving your exam, okay, offline, you see a lot of teachers who walk up and down, yeah, with their hands at the back, right, joining their hands behind their back. So what does that show? That they are teachers, so they have authority, right? So that is the right, actually the right position. Then rubbing gently behind or beside the ear with the index finger, or rubbing the eye, usually means the other person is uncertain about what you are saying. Now, many a times when offline, when I ask the students to come in front and give their introduction, okay, I see this kind of behavior, that they get so nervous because they don't expect that the teacher has, suddenly I call them on the stage. So they are a bit, scared. Of course, that's their first time they come. Many of them, first time they come in front of the whole audience, right? So what they do is when they're giving giving their names and all, they very unconsciously they start rubbing their eye, or they rub their ears, and then they don't know what to say. They get very self-conscious. Yeah. So that is that. Then leaning back, both hands supporting the head, usually indicates a feeling of confidence or superiority. So taking both the hands and leaning back in maybe somebody who's sitting in the maybe uh, CEO of a company or a director of a company. Generally, you see them relaxed and they sit like this on their chairs. Okay, so that is the confidence. It shows that they have a lot of confidence because, of course, because of their experience. Then cupping one or both hands over the mouth, especially when talking, may well indicate that the person is trying to hide something. Now, see, remember, these are the interpretations. Because remember, when you are going to give an interview, students, you are going to be in front of the interviewers for hardly a minute, or maybe 2-3 minutes, or max 5 minutes. So, in those 5 minutes, they have to select you, right? So, how are they going to select you? These are basically the non-verbal reactions or communication which they will know. So that is the reason why you must know what it means by cupping your one or both hands over the mouth means. That means that the person is trying to hide something. Putting your hand on your cheek or stroking your chin generally portrays your thinking, you're interested, or you are considering. Okay. Then fingers bent across the chin or below the mouth most often shows critical evaluation. So whenever you have your fingers bent across the chin or below the mouth, many of you must have seen when you're giving your viva. Okay, maybe you've given your viva in your 11, 12 standards. A lot of teachers have this habit. Why? Because they're evaluating you, right? They have to give you marks. So that is why they generally, unknowingly, they put their fingers under their chin or below the mouth. So this, of course, out here you can see this is the sign language which is used by the deaf and dumb people. Okay, and of course it means a lot, and that is how they interpret. Now, interpreting body language, what is the meaning of I am willing or I am ready? Basically, a person who leans forward with open body, open arms, open hands. It is that person is interpreted as I am ready or willing. When does a interviewer think that you're listening? Generally, a head tilted, lots of eye contact, nodding, and high blink rate. So that is how it is interpreted that you are listening. Then after this, I am bored. Basically, you're staring into space. You have a very slumped posture. Slumped posture means sitting with not sitting straight in your bench or your chair. And of course, foot tapping. Okay, what is foot tapping? Basically, playing with your feet. That shows that you are bored. Then I want to say something is interpreted by finger tapping, foot tapping, and staring. Then I am lying interprets as when a person touches his face, hands over the mouth, pulls ears, eyes down, and shifts in seat. Many a times, remember, when you don't have or don't show eye contact, that also means that either you're hiding something or you're lying. Okay. Then when do you interpret that you're angry? When you're leaning forward, you are pointing your finger and your fists are clenched. When do you say I object or I do not agree? Basically, when you are disagreeing something, you move back, arms folded, legs crossed, head down. And I want to leave, the feet will be towards your door, looks around, buttoning up your jacket. That is meaning that is interpreted as I want to leave. Now, next is artifactual communication and color. But I think we'll stop here and I will take this tomorrow. Okay, students? Okay. Shall I take your attendance, students? Are you all ready?